So feel free, of course, to take some time to stretch or look around as we transition from the sitting to some Dharma sharing on Adhitthana, on resolve. So again, I love this framework of refuge, compass, vow. And this is from a Dhamma talk by the teacher Devereaux. And this framing of resolve or Adhitthana, how do we understand this practice? And Adhitthana is the 8th parami. So there's, in the early Buddhist teachings, the Theravadan practice, there's 10 paramis. And these are practices that both ripen in us as we, or qualities that ripen in us as we practice, and also that we cultivate on the path of practice. And so this Adhitthana is the 8th of these, and these paramis help us to cross over what are called the floods or the asavas, right? All of the dimensions of living in the world that tend to overwhelm us, tend to make us caught up and confused. And so when we align, when we contemplate, when we practice and cultivate with these 10 paramis, it supports us on this path, being carried over towards wisdom, towards awakening. And this Adhitthana, this parami of Adhitthana is the 8th, and it comes right after truth. So this cultivation of truth or understanding of truth, specifically the 4 noble truths. So this understanding of what leads to suffering and what leads to the alleviation of suffering. And so Adhitthana is to align, it's a commitment to align with that which is onward leading, that which releases us from suffering, that which again supports wisdom, peace. And so this word Adhitthana, A-D-H-I, Adi means higher or fuller or more complete. And Thana means to have a foundation or to abide in or to stand in. So I love this sense that it has a sense of more fully standing or in or abiding in that which we know is onward leading. This is the practice of Adhitthana. And as we know, with a cultural kind of construct of New Year's resolutions and so on, as we sense into resolve, right away some of our conditioning might come on board. So our sense of striving, or our sense of, I'm going to do this for this long every day, and if I don't, I'm going to be disappointed in myself. The sense of me that's going to do something in the future that becomes an ideal. And I love the teaching of Ajahn Sucitto. He really likens this practice of Adhitthana again to embodiment and to the heart. So he says, heart plus spine equals commitment. Heart plus spine equals Adhitthana, right? What does that mean? I've been really feeling into this in my practice. So the heart, this movement of the heart towards what we know is supportive, this movement of the heart that we both cultivate, we contemplate what's wise, we contemplate our place within the family of things, our belonging to other beings, our responsibility to other beings. And this moves the heart to practice. So this question of what does the heart love enough to be devoted to? And we can actively commit, but we can also feel how that commitment just arises naturally as we come back again and again, and we feel the fruit of the practice. So heart plus spine. So the spine can be literally the central axis of the body, but also the sense of standing more fully, knowing our center, having a way that we return, this practice of refuge, right? How do we come back into relationship with our center? And we can practice this in so many different ways, as we did in the meditation. So simple. Just feeling the body, feeling the ground beneath one. The refuge of inhaling and the refuge of exhaling. This refuge of kindness. We know that when we practice metta, the mind is more collected. The body feels more safe. We feel more of that relational quality, more connected to other beings. So we can feel into that. Knowing what we start to learn about the world through our practice, then what is the heart devoted to? We start to really learn, wow, okay, there is dukkha, right? That's that truth. That's that seventh parami. There is dukkha. It's not easy to do this. It's not easy to be here. Knowing that, what is my refuge, right? What is a refuge? What is a stable, secure, trustworthy way to align, place to align with, right? Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Knowing that there's change, knowing that our lives are fleeting, that things are in this process of change, that we're ultimately not in control of what happens. How do I want to align my heart? This can really help as we contemplate the nature of change and causes and conditions to bring us out of that ideal of what our practice is supposed to be or gonna be, what our lives are supposed to be or gonna be. And again, come back into we're just learning on this path. We're just learning in each breath, in each moment, in each action. Oh yeah, this is what it is to understand. This is wise. This brings connection. This brings peace. Knowing that the nature of ourself, this idea of who we are and where we're going and what we're up to, is actually very porous. I love the word intradependence instead of interdependence, which has a sense of a discrete being that's connected with other beings. But intradependence is this realization that actually our bodies are made of microbes and made of the water table in the place that we inhabit. That we're in this constant exchange, right, with trees and plants. All of the ways that we are completely reliant, not only on other human beings, but on the more than human world. So knowing this, learning this moment by moment, what does the heart want to be devoted to? And we're allowing this to be this natural arising, this natural opening. I was thinking back on my own life as I was feeling into Adhitthana, and how did my heart become devoted to this path of practice? I'm a movement teacher, so I practice embodiment, I teach embodiment. I really love the Dharma, I like to share the Dharma, committed to understanding how our nervous systems are impacted by trauma and how we have a responsibility to one another. How did my heart become devoted, right? How did that show up? And these moments in my life where I didn't set out to be devoted. I remember a moment of being in a studio space where I had gone for 20 years to practice and study movement, yoga, and Dharma, this deep integration of Dharma and yoga. And I traveled there over and over and over again throughout my life. Taught in that space, been in that space in Sangha with teachers. And there was a moment I was just looking out the window and I felt something really strong in my body. And I thought, oh, this is devotion. This knowing that I'm going to keep doing this. And it's not because I think I should. And it's not because I think I'm not good at it and I could be better, or I am good at it and this and that and all of these ideas. There's just this, oh, yeah, and this is it. This is a place where my heart wants to rest. And that knowing was actually very deeply grounding, that sense of standing in. I felt that again when I first met Tanisra and Kitty Sorrow, my first retreat with them, and the chanting, a sense of devotional practice woven into insight meditation, and their commitment to social justice, to sacred activism. I didn't have to say, okay, I'm going to try to do this and get there, and I'm going to make sure. Just like, oh yeah, this is a line. This is a line for me. I know this is where I'm going to be. This is a Sangha I'm going to be a part of. These are teachers I'm going to be learning from. So this naturally arising devotion or vow, commitment, resolve that arises from the learning that happens on the path of practice. And so again, instead of an idea that gets us up into the head, we drop down into the body. Heart plus spine equals commitment. And there's a beautiful unfolding of what Adhitthana means. This is from the what are the resolves that we might contemplate on the path of practice. Again, this is from the Majjhima Nikaya, the middle-length discourses, teachings of the Buddha, that there are 4 resolves. So there's the resolve for wisdom. And the Buddha described a wise person as one who is concerned for self, one who is concerned for other, one who is concerned for self and other, and one who is concerned for all beings. This is very interesting to me, because in some ways I think this is also the arc of our practice. At first it might feel very much about who we are and what we're doing and the problems in our lives. And that's very real. It's an aspect of being a human being. And as we deepen in the practice, moment by moment, we start to feel this deep relationality. And this is, of course, becoming so acutely apparent in the world we live in. The world, in some ways, is becoming more intimate, more immediate. We're hearing about what's happening in all these different places in the world that we do have a responsibility for, that we are connected to, we are impacted by. And so this arc of practice, concern for self, concern for other, starting to feel the boundary of self and other blur a little bit. And then also, finally, this concern for all beings, this connection into, deeper connection into the web of life. The second resolve is the resolve for truth. Again, we begin to learn what is true, what is helpful, what is onward leading. Oh, this leads to suffering, right? This action, this way of treating oneself or others, being hard on oneself, this old habit, speaking for myself, of self-doubt. Oh, it's not onward leading, right? It just brings more suffering. So then how to make space for that? How to allow for that to be known and tended to. The resolve for what's called chaga. This is the third resolve. And I love this, chaga, this word, because it means both relinquishment and generosity. So it's the resolve to realize we're in a flow of giving and receiving. And our world is so transactional. It seduces us into thinking, right, that we can resolve to find some sort of lasting security. If we just do this and we just make this happen, we just do this enough times. But this resolve for chaga, for this realization that we're actually in an ongoing, never-ending exchange, giving and receiving, relinquishing and receiving, and that these are 2 sides of the same coin. And the resolve for peace, upasamma, which is synonymous with awakening. So we sense into what brings peace, what brings insight, what brings a sense of calm. Again, an ability to see into the nature of how it is, to not be so caught up. And so as we move into this year together, It's also was a new moon yesterday. I'm just going to mute folks who are unmuted. It's a new moon yesterday, which might also feel like a new beginning. There might be many different times, a birthday or any threshold, where we can take time to contemplate this quality of adhitthana. What is the heart love? What are we moved by enough to, again, orient to commit to set as our inner compass? So, my friends, thank you for being here today and for touching into this time together. And we have time now. We usually take about 20 minutes for reflections, what we call questions and reflections. I'm starting less and less to believe in answers and more in just interbeing. And actually, I do want to close with a quote by the physicist Karen Barad, who has coined this term intra-being. And she says, there are no solutions. There is only the ongoing practice of being open and alive to each meeting, each intra-action, so that we might use our ability to respond, our responsibility to help awaken, to breathe life into ever new possibilities for living justly.
I think we might have yes.
So let's dedicate the merit of the practice.
No, I don't remember totally.
And then we'll move into this time of reflection together. So may the blessing of our time together.
Don't know. I really don't.
May it uplift our own hearts. May it again support us in abiding more deeply in what is true, what is onward leading. And may that be in service of all beings, of our deep realization of our intra-being. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. So these teachings, as you probably know, are offered freely. This is the commitment of the Dhamma. The teachings considered to be priceless. So if you do wish to support Sacred Mountain Sangha, there's a donate link in the chat. This does not go to me. This goes to Sacred Mountain Sangha. I'll stop.